Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my kitchen, and Merry Christmas Eve everyone! I'm Amy, and today we're making an extra special recipe, and it's our last yummy Christmas treat for this year. Now this cake is as beautiful as it is delicious. It just looks like the holidays to me. We're making a yulelog cake, which is also a rolled cake, so that's a pretty little challenge we've set for ourselves this time around. There are way fewer ingredients than I thought. I was actually a little surprised when I had them all set out, because this cake looks way too fancy to have such humble beginnings. So, since it's Christmas Eve and we're down to the wire here, let's get cooking. Start by preheating the oven to 350 and make sure your oven rack is in that middle position. We're going to make our cake batter first, and this does have a couple of steps. To start, let's mix our dry ingredients in a small-ish bowl. We need a half cup of cake flour, a quarter cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of espresso powder, and a quarter teaspoon of salt. Whisk this so everything is evenly combined, and then just set this aside for a few minutes. Our next step is to separate 4 eggs. We're going to use all of them, but in different ways, so we need the 4 egg yolks in one bowl and the whites in another. You can use the eggshell method, where you move the yolk back and forth to each part of the shell to disconnect the white. You can use your hands like I do, or you can even just crack them in a bowl and use a spoon to scoop out the yolks. However you like to separate eggs, when we have the yolks and the whites separated, add a half cup of granulated sugar and then the 4 egg yolks to a large bowl. Whisk this all up until it starts to become a lighter yellow and gets nice and creamy. You can use a hand mixer for this, although even whisking by hand, it only took me about 30 seconds to get the right consistency and color. Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and whisk that into that egg and sugar mixture. Now I'm heading over to my stand mixer, although you could also use another regular mixing bowl and a hand mixer for this as well. Add the 4 egg whites to the bowl and whip them up until soft peaks form. Soft peaks are when the little mountain type shape happens when you lift up the whisk, but it's soft and it starts to kind of droop and sag right away. Stiff peaks are when that little mountain stays put and holds its shape, kind of like the Cool Whip you get at the grocery store. Now we have all the ingredients for our cake, so let's get them combined. Grab the big bowl with the egg mixture in it and dump in the flour mixture. Stir this up using a spatula. It's going to be really thick at the moment. Just keep stirring until everything's combined and there are no flour streaks or clumps in it. Now add in about half of those whipped egg whites and stir this half in pretty vigorously until it's completely mixed in. Last, add the other half of the whites, and now is when we want to be gentle. Fold this half into the batter, being careful to keep that batter light and fluffy. When everything's combined, the batter should look like this. Nice and light with good aeration, almost pillowy. Now we need our pan, and I have a challenge here. This cake calls for a Swiss roll baking tin, which is a 10 by 15 inch pan, but I don't have one of those. I only have regular baking sheets, which are 12 by 17 inches, way too big. So, I'm going to think outside the box for this and use some silicone mini bread molds to shrink the area of the pan on both the short and the long sides. Then I'm going to fold the parchment paper to contain the area where I want to pour my cake batter into. If I measure this, it ends up being about 9.5 by 14.5, so a tiny little bit small, but much closer than it was. I would rather my cake layer be a tiny bit thicker than have it break and crack when I roll it up because it's just too thin. Now we're going to pour our batter into that shrunken pan and smooth it out the whole way to the edges. We want the cake batter to be as even and rectangular as possible for this because we need this cake to cook evenly since it does not have a long bake time at all. Pop this in the oven and bake it at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes at the most, just until the toothpick comes out clean. We also want to babysit this pretty closely. We can't overbake this because it won't roll correctly if it's overdone. Now while that cake is baking, grab a clean kitchen towel or like a flour sack type thing and dust it with powdered sugar. This is our drying rack for our cake. I'm also going to get started on the chocolate ganache that's going to top our cake. Start with a small saucepan and heat up 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream over low heat until it starts to bubble. Now this can take upwards of 20 minutes to happen, but don't get impatient and turn up the heat. The cream can scorch or separate pretty fast if it gets too hot too quickly, so this is very much a low and slow kind of thing. While the cream is heating up, chop up 8 ounces of bittersweet dark chocolate or 2 4-ounce bars. You can also use chips, but they don't melt quite as fast as the baking bars, so the smaller those get chopped, the better. When the chocolate's all chopped up, put it all into a small to medium bowl and add 1 tablespoon of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Set this to the side, and now we're just going to wait for the cream to start bubbling. At this point, the cake is done, so we want to get it out right away. Let it cool on the pan for just a little bit, long enough that you can handle it without getting burnt, but don't let it fully cool. We need to roll this without breaking it, and if it cools flat, then it's not going to want to roll. But if we cool it while it's rolled up, it'll want to hold that shape. So as soon as you can handle it, which for me was about 3 to 4 minutes, gently get it out of the baking sheet and onto that sugar-dusted towel. Then slowly and gently peel off the parchment paper. Now take your time with this one so it doesn't pull too much of that cake with it. Now roll it up and be really gentle with this thing because it's pretty fragile at this point. Roll it right around with the towel and then set it to the side to cool completely. Wherever you put it, you'll want it seam side down, and you may have to prop something up against it to keep it from trying to unroll again. I put it against the back of the counter and stuck a jar in front of it, and that worked perfectly. Now back to the ganache, and after about 20 minutes, this heavy cream is starting to bubble. Take this hot, steamy cream and pour it into the bowl with the chopped up chocolate and the other stuff. Now use a spatula and stir this around until everything melts and that ganache becomes creamy and shiny. It'll take a minute or so, just gently stir until everything melts. Set this to the side and let it set at room temperature until the cake is completely cool. It's perfectly fine if this ganache starts to settle a little. We actually want it to start thickening up and become a little less liquid. When the cake is completely cool, we're going to whip up our sweet whipped cream filling. I'm going back to the stand mixer, but you could also just use a bowl and a hand mixer again for this too. Pour in 1 cup of cold heavy cream and whip this until it forms those soft peaks. Add a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to the cream and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then whip this up again until you get the stiff peaks. And that is it for our filling. Extra, extra easy. Ooh, now it's time to put this together and make it all pretty. Take that fully cooled cake tube and gently unroll it onto a work surface. You can see here how it likes being in that rolled shape since it cooled that way. This is exactly what we want it to do. Now, we also need to remove the towel, and it should come off really easily because of that powdered sugar. Spread that whipped topping we just made all over the cake, like the whole way to the edges, and then roll this thing back up. You'll probably have some whipped topping trying to come out the seam, but that's perfectly fine. Just be gentle to keep as much topping inside the cake as possible, and then set it on the dish you plan to serve it on with the seam side down so it holds its shape. Now it's ganache time, and this is where we're going to start making our cake look like a log with bark on it. Use a spatula to put the ganache on in small amounts at a time and make kind of swirls and trails in the ganache like this. Make sure to get the sides the whole way down to the dish so that the entire cake is completely covered in the ganache. You can see how the chocolate's still kind of drippy and liquid, but it's set enough to hold its shape as we frost the cake with it, which is exactly the consistency we want at this point. When you have a nice textured surface like this one, pop this in the fridge just like this, completely uncovered, for about an hour so that ganache sets completely. After an hour or so, pull that cake out of the fridge and use a toothpick to accentuate the ridges and valleys in the chocolate. You can see how the chocolate's nicely set now and it's held its texture. The next thing I'm doing is creating a little divot in the ganache so I can put a pretty little decoration on this cake without it wanting to roll off. I cut 2 little sprigs of fresh rosemary from a little rosemary plant I'm growing in my garden, and I pulled 4 frozen cranberries out of a bag I had in the freezer. Press the rosemary into the ganache and set the cranberries into that little divot to mimic some Christmas or Yule holly. And last but definitely not least, We need some snow on this tree. I want my snow to be very fine and almost like a mist on this cake, so I'm using a mesh tea infuser ball because this is the finest mesh I have. Drop some powdered sugar into the mesh ball and shake it gently over the cake to mimic freshly fallen snow, and our cake is done. So this cake is probably one of the most beautiful baked goods I've ever made. It is so pretty, it just looks like winter and Yuletide and just pure Christmas wonder. And it tastes like rich chocolate and light, fluffy, sweet whipped cream. I went a little thin on the ganache because that is some potent stuff. Like, very rich, like hedge fund rich. But the whipped filling, it has such a light, fresh flavor that it balances out the richness of the ganache beautifully. The cake itself is right in the middle. It has a nice chocolate flavor, but it's not too rich and sweet, which would be overpowering, but it's more subtle. This is my favorite yulelog cake recipe. I really hope you give this one a try. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying my channel. Maybe leave a comment. What's your favorite Christmas treat? Or what food just embodies winter and Christmas? Please stay tuned on Sundays because every week I make another cozy, comforting recipe. And this week is a recipe after my own heart, straight from Pennsylvania, Dutch country. My people. And next week we're whipping up a New Year's Eve video with some wonderful New Year's Eve yummies. I hope you have a wonderful week and a Merry Christmas. And I'll see you back here for New Year's Eve. Bye.